Good day everyone and welcome to the video. In our last video, we briefly talked about how an audio signal interacts with our plugins, in relation to how our plugins are arranged. So, for this video, I wanted us to talk about signal flow to further understand that concept. Signal flow explains how our audio signal travels once imported into our DAW. How it travels in the mixer, and how that knowledge can help us make informed creative choices, whether we are mixing or mastering our tracks. I'm routing my track here randomly to mixer track 5, which then sends to the master track. When an audio signal is sent to a mixer track, the sound first travels down the effect slots, from 1 to 10. Whatever change is affected by the plugin used in slot 1, is summed up with the audio signal and transported to slot 2. This process continues all the way down to slot 10. If you use FL Studio, this explains why that limiter that is automatically added to your master track is always added at the bottom, since a limiter tends to be one of the finishing touches engineers use in their mastering process. After running down the effect slots, it travels to the mixer's controls. Firstly, to the mute or solo button. Then to the pan knob, which allows us pan the audio to the left or the right. Next it travels to the volume panel where we're able to adjust the volume of the audio. This is set to 0 dB at default. After the volume panel, it gets to the stereo separation processing. Here we can switch the polarity of the signal, swap the signal to the left or the right channel, or turn the stereo separation knob left to get a more stereo signal, and right to get a more centered signal. Leaving the stereo separation knob, it travels down to the effect switch, where we can turn all our effects on or off. And lastly it moves to the output from where we can send to a master track or to a bus controlling multiple tracks. Now, since the processing on slot 1 is going to affect the processing on slot 2, we want to take the changes happening in slot 1 into consideration as we make changes in slot 2. This can be seen clearly if we interchange the arrangement of an EQ with a frequency analyzer plugin. The cut or boost made on the EQ will not be received by the analyzer if the analyzer is added before the EQ. But if that arrangement is changed and the analyzer is added after the EQ, it accurately receives the adjusted signal being sent from the EQ. So, think of the slots as chains that are linked, and not just as boxes or slots for effects. That will be all for this lesson. Keep in mind that when doing parallel processing, all the changes made on the main mixer track are sent to the parallel track. This will help us make informed choices as regards what processing to add on the parallel track, and what processing is better left on the main mixer track. Until next time, I hope you've learned something useful. If there are topics you would like us to touch on, be sure to comment them and we'll do our best to visit them in future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.